Bernie Sanders has been on a roll in the back half of 2019, coming off the heels of Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez's endorsement, which I think really bolstered him after his heart attack. It really got people believing in the campaign once again, the fact that he could do it, the fact that he wasn't too old. I really do think that the squad's, 3/4 of them, endorsement had a lot to do with that. And now, once again, Bernie is demonstrating that his surge is not just in polling numbers in states like Iowa, or New Hampshire, the early primary states, but in fundraising data, which seems to be all the media cares about, even though they're giving him some positive coverage now. But compare that if like a corporate candidate had the amount of money he did. Anyway, here are the figures. They're staggering. Mr. Sanders is expected to remain a financial pace setter in the 2020 contest. He is pressing toward a goal of 5 million contributions by the end of the year and announced Monday that he was at nearly 4.9 million. If Mr. Sanders maintains the current average size of his donations, $18, the number suggests he has already raised about $26 million in the fourth quarter, more than any Democratic candidate has raised in any quarter this year. No other 2020 candidate has announced reaching 3 million donations. So let's get that straight. Let's hammer that point home. As Bernie Sanders is very close to 5 million donations, no other candidate has reached 3 million. And he raised the most of any candidate in any quarter in this cycle with the lowest average donation and with just individual contributions. Do people understand what kind of feat that is? This is changing campaign financing for presidential races forever, and ushering a whole new kind of politics for the better. It sets the groundwork for future legislative changes on the campaign finance front in a way that, I couldn't have dreamed of when I was obsessing about this issue. The way that most of us couldn't have dreamed of, Obama did employ a small dollar donation strategy, but it was only buttressing his big money donation thing. So it was just as a supplementary option. Bernie is breaking records and raising more money than people by doing just that. And there is some unfortunate news for Elizabeth Warren in this piece too, just to move off Bernie for a little bit. And I think for progressives, because we would be the luckiest if it was a choice between the two of them, right? If it's between Biden and Bernie, that's going to stink because that means Biden has a pretty decent chance to win. So to double down also on the unfortunate news from this piece, Biden has done better this quarter. So mixed news, great Bernie news, but for Elizabeth Warren, not so much. Senator Elizabeth Warren's slip in the 2020 primary polls has been accompanied by a dip in donations, with her campaign setting a rare public goal, aiming to raise $20 million for the fourth quarter of 2019 ending Tuesday, or about 20% less than what she raised in the previous 3-month period. Former Vice President Joseph R. Biden Jr., meanwhile, has rebounded from a weak third quarter in which he raised only $15.7 million and spent $2 million more than he took in. By the way, that was on private jets and swanky hotels. Now his campaign is trying to assert his frontrunner status in the Democratic race, pushing in the final 48 hours of the year to post our biggest fundraising quarter yet, as Mr. Biden wrote in an email on Sunday, by topping the $21.5 million he raised last spring. So that's where the other two major candidates stand. And unfortunate news for humanity, Mr. Pete Buttigieg. The way the New York Times frames this stuff. Joseph R. Biden Jr. We know who you're talking about. Anyway, so now I'm saying Mr. Buttigieg in my mind, but Mr. Buttigieg hasn't fallen off. Mr. Buttigieg is closing in on 2 million donations. He has more than 1.9 million, according to campaign emails. That means he has already received more than 700,000 donations this quarter, by far more than any such period this year. Mr. Buttigieg raised 19.1 million and 24.6 million in the previous 2 quarters. Let us pray that much of those donations came early in the quarter when he was more popular, before he got absolutely shellacked at the last debate, and then people couldn't get the High High Hopes song stuck out of their head. Now it's stuck in your head too, guys, right? Now you're hating me. Now I'm going to have you singing High High Hopes at the end of the year as you go into 2020. That's what you're going to hear as the ball crashes just in your mind. haunting you for the rest of your dreams and in your nightmares. Happy New Year.